Welcome back, and this is Joe Blasco. We're here with Mr. Greg Cannom. Greg, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, hey, we have a little gold fellow here sitting.
We do.
Sitting between us.
These are beautiful, aren't they?
Isn't that the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? You have 3 of these.
It's my third one.
Your third one.
But this one's very special for me.
Tell us about it.
Because the first 2, I mean, you know, it's and when I was younger, going through that is pretty exciting. And
right.
But when you get older and go through this now, I can't handle the nerves anymore. But it's too much. But
you honestly, you know, this is heavy.
They're very heavy.
You know, I just started an exercise program. You know, if I came to your house, I could exercise at your house with 2 different Oscars, right?
You could.
My God, look at this beautiful, beautiful man. This is number 3469, and for the curious case of Benjamin Button. All right, now tell us, in making the film, obviously you knew that this film would definitely be a contender.
Yes.
For the Academy Awards. And exactly when did you realize that there was definitely a distinct possibility that you would most definitely receive this award?
Well, I knew I had a good chance when we did the tests that first August before we started shooting. And we started shooting about October, and then we finished shooting about August of next year. In fact, when I did the makeups on the 85-year-old Kate Blanchett, that was 1 year after we'd done tests. So that was pretty scary.
A year afterwards.
1 year, but we didn't have any tests. I mean, the first day of shooting, we did it.
Yeah.
And, you know, luckily it worked really well, and David said, make sure it's like this every day.
Incredible.
And so it worked, but I knew during the test that I had a good chance.
Yes.
And because the makeups were looking pretty darn good.
Yeah.
Now, if I may say so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I can recall when we went to dinner that one evening, and you pulled out photos of the makeup that you did, the one makeup, Brad Pitt. I think it was like he was 65 years old, around that age period. And I looked at this thing, and I knew right then and there that you would definitely be up for an Oscar for this picture. It seems that you've become somewhat of an authority, and as far as aging makeups are concerned. And for the longest time, Dick Smith was considered the man, you know, that you would call for aging.
Oh yeah.
And now it seems that you've kind of taken that position. And you're carrying the Dick Smith torch of excellence, let's say, into the future, now and long into the future, hopefully. And so how does it feel to be in that position?
It's really great. I mean, some of the articles in newspapers, reviews, and that compared me to, you know, they said my only other favorite age makeups are Dick Smith and that, which... you know, that really means a lot to me.
Yeah.
But I've really tried to, you know, go in his direction my whole career because I learned with him. I started with Rick, and I learned a lot from Rick. But Dick Smith, you know, his age makeups and character age makeups and were just the best. Absolutely. So for me to be able, whatever, being compared to him is quite the honor, you know.
Absolutely.
And I feel with this movie that I've really achieved. You know, taking it to a further level.
It's next level.
The silicone with Wes Wofford we created, you know, has taken it, and then Mark Neiman in the shop, he's taken it to a next level.
Yes.
And so with the transfers now and the combination of those, it's a whole new direction.
Let's talk about the transfers. Because I know that at one point you were apprehensive about using the transfers for the forehead.
For the forehead.
Tell us why.
Well, I thought it was a big piece, and because they're done flat, I didn't think it would fit and curve to the forehead and everything. I just didn't think it would work. So like I said, Brian Sipe tried it, and it worked great.
Right.
But I was going to use them, you know, for the littler, for eye
The crow's feet.
Crow's feet and things like that, and they work so incredible for crow's feet and for middle-age makeups using stipple and transfers and a neck waddle. You can do the most incredible age makeup, subtle age makeups that way. But the transfers, you know, which are based on Tinsley transfers, they're, you know, it's just taken everything in a whole direction.
It's also allowed us to use specifically to create incredibly realistic looking makeups up close in digital HD quality.
Yeah, I was shocked on this film when we shot the tests in that super HD that on, you know, I was waiting for the worst, and it was amazing how well it worked.
Right. And I don't think that people are aware of the fact that that film was really 99% shot.
Oh, 100%.
Digitally.
Totally.
Onto a hard drive,
Super high,
not onto film. There was only one portion that I read in American Cinematographer that was shot of the film. That was shot
when he was in Asia,
exactly,
and because of the small camera,
showing Brad traveling.
That's true.
Right.
Yes.
And I believe they hired a photographer out of China to fly there and to actually shoot, and he was on vacation. Brad was on vacation and it fits so perfectly into the storytelling.
Yeah,
you know, I thought it was brilliant.
That's true.
So, but that digital process affords you the ability to be able to see immediately what you've done, right there on the set on a monitor, and you know, you're not waiting for dailies. You're not looking at dailies that may not be color corrected, et cetera, et cetera. You know.
And even Colleen Callahan, you know, who I fought to try to get on the Oscar with me, but was unable to for various strange reasons. But she actually she learned she could take all of her set photos on the monitor, on the super high def monitor. She would,
all the
instead of going
photos,
the continuity, instead of running up and taking pictures, she could just take them right off the monitor, and they'd be
exquisite. Perfect.
So it's pretty funny.
Isn't that
how
great? Let's talk about Colleen. She's a real veteran.
Yes.
She's done an awful lot. And a wonderful, wonderful, very, very talented hairstylist. And I found it somewhat surprising, as I know you did as well, because you've mentioned this, even in your acceptance speech, you mentioned that she was not part of the ticket for this.
Yes.
Why?
I don't know. She was... They said makeup and hair, the times we had the big meetings with everybody and voting and all that. And then there's a small group of people who have the final say in who is on the ticket. Right. And they voted against her.
Are they makeup artists? Or are they hairdressers?
I'm not sure. But they're makeup and hair people that are on that small committee. But they, and I don't understand why they have the right to pick and choose.
Yeah.
You know, for whatever reason, because Colleen should have been on there 100%, and I hope, because I made a big deal about it during the whole thing, that I hope it changes. It's not right. It's not right for, before it used to be 3 people on there, and it was usually makeup, special makeup, if there was that, and then hair. Yeah. And then they cut it down to 2, and then since then, they only usually put 1 person up a lot, which I don't understand. Yeah. But the look of Benjamin Button, it was the makeup, and the hair was a major part of the look. And even if they didn't put Colleen on, I don't understand why they didn't put Jean Black on, who did handle all the rest of the makeup. I don't understand how that whole thing works, and I never will now. Yeah. But it has to change.
It's very surprising. I think perhaps maybe I should interview Leonard Engelman, who I believe is the chairman of the committee that
and I know he was really for Colleen, and he
I know. I saw Leonard,
couldn't influence what happened. So you know,
I saw Leonard at the makeup show over the weekend, where I was one of the keynote speakers, and I meant to ask him about that, but I was so rushed that I didn't really have the chance to do that. So perhaps we'll be able to get Leonard to come on the show, and we can talk a little more in depth with him about that. Particular situation.
I really hope it changes, because it's not fair.
I agree. Yeah, I do agree.
Especially all that hair.
But I was really pleased to see that you took Colleen to the Oscar ceremony.
Yeah, that worked out.
And they had a wonderful shot of her there in the audience.
Yeah.
While you were accepting the
Because
award.
we've been nominated 3 times together.
Really?
Yeah, and we just, everybody thought this time for
She
sure.
did A Beautiful Mind?
Beautiful Mind.
Yes.
And also Roommates.
Really? Very
So
good.
we figured finally this is the time we have
Yes.
a good chance, and then they pulled this at the last minute, and
Right.
I didn't see it coming at all. and
Right.
A lot of people didn't. So, but what can you do? It's over with.
That's how it is. You know, obviously you're a very talented artist, and you're surrounded by many other incredibly talented artists.
Oh, yeah.
Most of which you had the opportunity to thank.
Yeah.
During your
Well,
speech that night.
It's
Who
bad.
did you forget to thank? And now's your great opportunity to
Well, I
thank
didn't
those
forget.
people.
There were, a few people I wanted to thank. Like
So many.
Like I always wanted to thank Werner Kempler,
Oh, yeah.
there, and I was going to, and then my mind just went get off stage. And Wes Wofford I was going to thank because he helped develop the silicone and helped me a lot. And
Yeah.
a few other people, I just, at one point, my brain just said,
Yeah.
no more, get off the stage.
Well,
Been here too long.
I mean, your blood pressure must just soar at that
Yeah.
moment. you
It's
know?
it's very out of body surreal.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Your mind, you're just going, all these people are staring at me and all over the world, but
Right.
you have no idea what you're saying. You don't
Yes.
hear any music or
Yes.
applause. It's so
Time
surreal.
It stands still.
Stand
doesn't
still, and yet your mind's working a whole different way of recording it all, but you don't know what you're doing. And
Right.
and about 20 minutes later backstage, you come out of it and you're like, oh my God, I won.
it?
And,
Yes, you did.
and oh my God, this thing's heavy. And it's very bizarre, and it takes days. I remember what was weird this time is I really remembered that for the next 3 days, it just played over in my mind, over and over, that experience, that whole sequence, over, and it just for 3 days, and you have to keep looking at the Oscar, and it did happen.
Yes,
It's not
it
a
did.
dream. It's just, but it's too much to go through. I mean,
Now
At
listen,
what-
Dave,
at-
it's too
that's-
much to go through.
That Sunday, I mean, I woke up and I can hardly breathe, and I'm just like, the anxiety and everything, and it gets to the point where you just want it over with, whether you win or lose, just
Right.
get it
Get
over,
it done.
for weeks and weeks of this, it's just too much to go through. But
Well, you know what?
when you win, it's
so
nothing
exciting.
like it.
It not only is it exciting for you, but I have to tell you, to all of your fans, I just let out a yelp, all right, when you won. And I and so many others throughout the industry are so happy that you won the award for that picture. Because
Thank you.
in my opinion, it really did move makeup artistry in the area of aging to a whole nother level.
Yeah, and I had a lot of help. Miles Tevis
Yeah.
sculpted everything with
Yeah.
me, and
Oh,
he's the best.
incredible.
And,
We
yeah,
interviewed.
I can't do it without him. And then Will Huff
Yes.
and Brian Sipe
Yes.
helped, with the main ones helping me apply it on set.
Yes.
And it's a lot of work there. So and this film was a huge amount of work. It's the biggest film I've ever done.
Yes.
There was so much makeup in this film.
Yes. There's so much makeup, you're right. Which makeup specifically would you say was that makeup that thrilled you the most to know that you had done?
Well, that's easy. It's Kate. Because to do a makeup like that on someone like Kate Blanchett,
Yes.
and then it works,
Yes.
and an 85-year-old isn't easy to pull off, and also the progression at the end of the film of her aging,
Yes.
I really thought worked really, really well, and it's so real with her acting, and it just, and David Fincher really knows how to shoot age makeup,
Yes.
and so it looked great.
It was
and
perfectly lit.
It was perfect because
Yeah.
Brad, his makeup was fun and was very challenging in that. But then I was in a sequence with visual effects and
Yes.
everything,
Yes.
which is fine. To me, the great thing about this film was trying to create the makeup and then matching it with the visual effects and
Right.
everything, and then to have it all work
Yes.
and be a part of such a brilliant, film with this incredible technology in it, and it worked.
Yes.
Was amazing. But then to pull a aging an actress is the hardest thing to do on film, and to have that work so well. So I'm really, it was just, and then Taraji, working with Taraji, she was so wonderful, and Tilda Swinton, and it just...
It's a wonderful experience all the way around, that serves as real incentive for you to do what you did, obviously.
But I do have to say this one is very special to me because I did the horror creature with some age makeup on Dracula. I did the character makeup on Robin and Mrs. Doubtfire, but I always really wanted one for aging because I felt, like Dick Smith, I really wanted, to do a great aging film and to hopefully one day get an Oscar. So this is the most important one I've gotten because I feel like I've really accomplished the aging.
Well, you've hit 3 major categories of makeup artistry in doing that, and I'd say that this, being as sophisticated a makeup as it is, as all the makeups were and are, you've really you've accomplished something that every makeup artist really, I'm sure, secretly wishes to get to that level in makeup artistry, where they can do a makeup that looks so realistic and so real on camera, that's shot in incredible close up, and looks real, and is also such an integral part of the success of the film. A makeup like this could make or break a film.
Oh.
The makeup, all of these makeups, they were all so exquisitely done. There was no way this film was going to fail because of makeup. I'll tell you that. It was an amazing, amazing feat, and you pulled it off. I think that I don't know that there's much more really that can be done in aging with Bicentennial Man, because in Bicentennial Man you did incredible work there. I know that there were others who were also working very closely with you and helping you to apply the makeup there, but that was you. You were supervising, you were applying, you had your hand in everything, and so that was, I think, the first step that you took in your career, I feel, that people really stood up and took notice to, as far as aging makeup and taking it to an entirely new level. With a great degree of sophistication.
Well, that was the first time we did the silicone. And Wes Waffer did it with me. The whole film we do a test makeup every afternoon and then an age makeup every morning on that film. But then again, that film I got nominated for, and they took Wes's name off of it for some reason. And I've still never understood that. So we were pretty angry back then on that one, so I don't understand any of that. But Wes Waffer did all those makeups. That's the first film we did the silicone on.
Yes.
And it worked amazing, and that was the start of it all. Yeah. So, but to me, Benjamin still isn't the perfect age makeup. There was there are still flaws in it that could have been better. So
Where are the flaws?
You
pointed out, he tells me, he says, there was this little thing on her neck that wasn't quite right, and it wasn't down right. I've seen the film 4 times, and I'm still looking for this little thing on the neck that isn't quite down right.
They did touch up some. I can see it in the film. I mean, there are some pieces that weren't sculpted right. I didn't sculpt them. They were done very early on. And they're just pieces, and there are makeups that there's one on Brad, I didn't like the cheek pieces out of the transfer. Mm-hmm. I just didn't like it, but Brad really wanted it, so we did it, and it worked okay, but we had huge problems with it in the beginning.
How was he to work with? Very cooperative?
Yeah.
With every phase of the application?
And he has lots of ideas, which is great. He really wanted the heavy texture, the lines in the forehead, and it's more than I would ever do on a film, but then he's this little wrinkled old baby that becomes this old man, and so it did work with it, and went with it. But I like Brad because he's a very happy person, and he's very positive, and it's great being around him. And he, like most actors, hate sitting in the chair while you're, every morning at
Yes,
4 or
yes.
5.
It takes a very special person to
did it.
to do
He
that.
did it amazing. He made it all the way through, all up like Kate.
Yes.
A lot of actresses will go, get very upset by age makeup. And Kate was like, "Oh, it's great, but can we do more in here, and more wrinkles here?" And I'm like, "Sure."
No problem.
And
Wrinkles is
so
us.
we were very, and Tilda and Taraji and Jason, just all of them were just spectacular to
Yes.
work with. So that couldn't have been any better.
Yes. And Kate just fit that makeup like a glove. Her performance was just so outstanding. The voice
I know.
that she did, where did that come
It's so funny because in the beginning I knew Kate from Babel and I was talking to her, and then I got to where when I start thinking about who she is,
Yeah.
it starts freaking me out,
Yes.
and then I, don't talk to her as much because I'm, oh my God, it's Kate Blanchett.
Right.
And it's like when I did a Maggie Smith in Hook, I was just, because I'm a big fan of Maggie Smith, and I was a wreck that whole shoot, and I never talked to her, and it was, she was probably wondering, what's wrong with him? But that, in Hook, it was supposed to be 4 days of makeup on Maggie Smith, and I go, oh, 4. And it ended up 21 days.
Wow.
And I was just, I never, I'm in awe of these people.
Yes.
So I'm amazed that I can do makeup still and be as totally...
You're a very humble person. Your personality is, you're not a confrontational type of person. You seem to be very comfortable with what you do, but yet you're always somewhat trying to, you don't think that you're going to do, it appears as though you sometimes don't think that what you're doing is as good as it could be. And you're always pushing yourself.
I never do, but I think
terrific.
that's why you can't be, because I
Yeah.
know other people, they think they do old age makeups,
Yes.
whatever, and they think they're just the best, and they're not,
Yes.
and then how can you...
Yeah. When
you
at lunch, you were telling me, what was it you were telling me? There was something that you had done that you kept doing it again and again and again, and you were actually discovering better ways of doing it each time you did it.
Stipple makeups.
Yes, yes. And I'm thinking, we were talking about the UEM brush.
The UEM
and
brush.
your use of the brush. And
Yeah.
because I had thought, as most people do, that when you're working with a silicone appliance, that's all wrinkled and the wrinkles are sculpted, that perhaps you don't have to color the wrinkles in. And what you said was very surprising to me, because I wasn't I thought that way as well. But I've always been used to painting the wrinkles in to further accentuate it on an appliance.
Mm-hmm.
And you actually validated that.
No, I still
You do. You still paint them.
Still paint all the lines in just like I
Yes.
did on Gloria Stewart.
Yes.
It works, and then I take a highlight color with a little fan brush
Yes.
and lightly hit it with
Right.
highlights.
Broken up.
And between the two, and then, when I did The Insider with Russell Crowe, that whole makeup's based on UEM brushes and highlights.
Yes.
And there's a lot of makeup on him in The Insider, but
Yes.
you can't see it.
Yes.
And it looked very theatrical to me when I first did it, painting
Right.
it all in and everything. But as soon as he stepped outside, it disappeared. You couldn't see the highlight because I didn't paint them on heavy.
Right.
They're so light you can hardly see them,
And
but
they're not
it
in
makes a huge difference.
They're not in continuous strokes either. They're spotted.
It's so lightly
like
raked.
natural, like a
I
real-
said, it's so lightly raked it doesn't fill pores in or anything, so it doesn't look like a painted thing. It just...
Are these boar bristle brushes, fan brushes that you're using, or they're all different types? There's
Yeah, I think
synthetics.
they're very small,
The small
fan
ones,
brushes,
right,
very small, and I barely touch areas, but boy, it really makes a difference.
Right.
But like I said, I still UEM
I'd
brushes
like you
and
to,
lines everywhere,
yeah.
because otherwise it just doesn't show up as good. And
I want you to demonstrate that for us. We're going to be doing, Greg is actually taking part in our seminar series on our other website, themakeupspace.com, which is not up and running yet, but will be on April 30th. And Greg is going to do some work with aging and silicone pieces, right? We're going to do
Yes, I am.
a series of lectures that are going to be just really remarkable. You're not going to want to miss that. I tell you, I think that from this point on, um, you have to analyze scripts very carefully to be certain that you're getting a film that is going to be more elevated than the last film, and I mean that's got to be a bit of a chore, because now you're having to become even more selective with the films that you take. How are you going to approach that?
No, it's very true. I mean, I've gotten a lot of job offers, but a lot of them are, you know, they don't have much money, and so they want to use stock pieces.
Right.
And I won't do them because if I use stock pieces, it doesn't fit right, doesn't
Right.
look right. So I'm only going to do the quality jobs now where I get to do it my way, because I don't want to hurt myself, and I don't see any point. I've done enough films
Right.
to where I've done all the testing in that, and unless I can really take what I know now even farther, I don't see much point in me doing these films. You know.
No, I agree. I agree. There are artists out there that may benefit by doing that, but at this point in your career, you know, you've been there, done that, and now it's time to move on to bigger and better heights.
Yes.
I can't even begin to imagine what would be bigger and better than The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, but I'll bet that you're going to get the job when it does make its appearance.
I'll be waiting.
You'll be waiting. We're all going to be waiting. Greg, I can't thank you enough for coming in and sharing this moment with us. Our audience worldwide, you know, they love you, and we get emails all the time. And, you know, so your work, I congratulate you for the work that you did on The Curious Case of Benjamin Button, and I wish you just continued, you know, great health and success in everything that you do in the future. And I know that everyone out there, all over the world, watching MUA TV right now is wishing you exactly the same thing. So, on behalf of them, congratulations.
Thank you.
For a job very, very well done.
Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. So, ladies and gentlemen, you've just been visiting with Mr. Greg Cannom, Academy Award winner for the wonderful film, The Curious Case of Benjamin Button. Don't you go away, because we're going to be right back, right here on MUA TV, with more makeup and hair programming right after this.